To share the feedback.
Yes.
Okay. The script is in your. What is this?
Was it recording?
Right?
No one.
No, I
recorded?
didn't know. I didn't press record.
Start from
It's recording.
the very beginning.
Oh,
So from the beginning, the time is. The time is. Oh, just nominate Chair Pro Tem. Okay. The first order of business is to elect the Chair Pro Tem to chair the election meeting until the president has been elected. The Chair Pro Tem must be someone who's not running for office in the election she or he is chairing. Since the first election is for president, the Chair Pro Tem cannot run for president. Once the president is elected, he or she can take over running the election from the Chair Pro Tem. Are there any nominations for Chair Pro Tem? We will accept self-nominations. All right. Is there anyone else? Nope. Okay, so nominations for Chair Pro Tem are now closed, and we will proceed to vote for Chair Pro Tem. We can vote by a show of hands or roll call vote in the platform used, if the platform used does not allow easy count of raised hands. So can we vote for Lauren Clavin to be Chair Pro Tem? Right, raise hands. All right, it is unanimous. Congratulations, Lauren has been elected to serve as the Chair Pro Tem and will conduct the election of officers for 2026-2027 school year.
Thank you. To elect officers, we will vote upon each position before moving on to the next so that any candidate not elected to an office can run for others. I will take nominations. Members can nominate themselves. If a member is nominated by another member, I will confirm that he or she accepts the nomination. Nominations do not need to be seconded. If a member is not present but has submitted his or her nomination in writing to the AA or another member, he or she will be treated the same as any member who is present, including having a 2-minute statement read aloud by someone else. Each nominee will be allowed to make a speech of up to 2 minutes. Following the candidates' presentations, we will conduct a roll call vote. All positions must be voted on, even if there is only one candidate. Where there are 2 or more candidates, each member must make a choice and vote for one or the other. Example, John Doe and Jane Smith are running for president. On the roll call, each member will vote for either John or Jane. The council must not vote first on John, then on Jane. Members may abstain from voting. If no candidate receives at least 7 votes, we will vote by show of hands on whether to do a second round or proceed to the elections for the next office. If a position remains unfilled over 2 or more rounds of voting, the incumbent will continue in the position. New elections for all unfilled positions must be put on the agenda of following month's calendar meetings until all the positions are filled. Is this clear to all members? Thank you so much. First, we will elect the council president. Are there any nominations for the office of president? You may nominate yourself, please remember.
I nominate myself.
Okay. Are there any other nominations, self or other, for the office of president? Going once, going twice? Okay, nominations for the office of president are now closed. I will now call each candidate in alphabetical order to make a statement of up to 2 minutes. The AA will be the timekeeper. Thank you, Dorinda. After all candidates have spoken, we will proceed with a roll call vote. Oh, okay, that's your cue. You're gonna do your statement, Quentin.
Good evening, Great 28 CEC. So I've been the president this is my second term. And if there's one thing I've learned is that this is not a pleasure, this is an honor to serve our district. In my time here, just seeing all the things that a parent can do advocating for students to progress, to thrive in this district. We have not only become the strongest district in New York City, we are the most celebrated, the most advanced, the best in collaborative powerfulness with our elected officials, community boards, FACE, and the district. And that's because of not just my leadership, but the teams that I've been able to lead with. So as president, I will not only continue to make this district greater, but we will see the impact beyond our wildest dreams. because that's what we do in this district. So I want to thank all the families out there that I've gotten to know, and all the schools and all the principals and all the students and all the council members that I've been able to sit here with, because the best is always yet to come, and I'm looking forward to continuing this greatness. So thank you, and please elect me to be your president so I can continue.
Thank you, Quentin. We will now proceed with a roll call vote. Okay. Do we need to go in any particular order, Dorinda? Okay, okay. Paquita Williams. What's your vote for president for Quentin? Yes or no? I love you. Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Thank you, Paquita. Kenyon Townsend,
Yes.
Eric Gretsch, Chantel Chambers,
Yes.
Jennifer Sobers,
Yes.
Alicia Bauer,
Yes.
uh, oops, Lauren Clavin, yes. Lu Zhao
Yes.
and Lauren Perkins.
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations, Quentin. You won by unanimous vote. Thank you for your service. I will send it back over to you. You're the chair.
Thank you, Chair Pro Tem Lauren Clavin, for that phenomenal job. And we will go back through the process. So we will now go to our election of first vice president. Is there anyone that would like to nominate themselves or nominate someone for first vice president?
I nominate myself.
Anyone else? Okay. All right, we'll close nominations and we will now give Lauren Clavin 2 minutes to give a speech on why she is running for first vice president.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor to serve on this council. I will keep it brief. Aside from my responsibilities as to my family, my children as their mother, I would say that this preserving and fighting for public education is my passion, and being in this role has really allowed me to do that and learn and meet people. It's truly been wonderful, and I hope to continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren. We will now do a roll call vote. Councilmember Paquita Williams. Yes. Yes or no? Lauren Clavin, first vice
Do
president.
I have to say anything? She did a wonderful job.
Yes.
You know my question, Ms. Long. Do you have a willingness to serve?
Yes, I do.
You have my vote.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay.
Kenya.
Yep.
Eric. Chantel.
Yes.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Alicia.
Yes.
Lauren. Yeah, you can vote. So yes, Lauren. And Lou. Yes. Congratulations, Lauren. You are CEC 28 District First Vice President. All right, next, we will elect the second Vice President. Are there any nominations for this position or someone want to nominate someone?
I'd like to nominate myself, please.
All right, we have Jennifer Sobers nominating herself for second Vice President. Do we have anyone else? Awesome. So we're going to close nominations, and Councilmember Jennifer Sobers, please give us 2 minutes why you will make an amazing second Vice President.
Hi, everyone. I have been so honored and I feel very blessed to have been a part of this council. I am extremely proud of each and every one of you guys, honestly and truly. Seeing the advocacy, the commitment has really inspired me and pushed me even further. Nights, sometimes you see emails from me late at night. I'm like, well, there's more that I have to do for our schools, for our constituents, and I'm willing to continue to work hard for our district and our community. I feel like I had a good working relationship with our board and our exec. I want to continue to do that. I want to continue to strengthen our relationships with our community boards this year. I feel like a lot of us have identified a lot of problems and concerns and issues, and now I'm hoping in this year we can start to chip away at some of those things and work together and see what we want to focus on. And I'd like to help lead the charge for that. So if possible, I would love to, I'd be honored to be the second vice president for this wonderful council.
Thank you, Councilmember. All right, we will now go down to our vote. Lakita Williams. I'm going this clockwise. Second Vice President. Jennifer, yes.
You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Now my question, do you have a willingness to serve?
I'm very willing and honored to do so.
You have my vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya Townsend.
Yes.
Eric Gretsch.
Yes.
Chantel.
Yes.
Alicia.
Yes.
All right, Lauren.
Absolutely, yes.
Lou.
Yes.
Lauren.
Yes.
Quentin. Yes. Congratulations. Next, we will elect the secretary, recording secretary. Do we have any nominations for recording secretary?
I would like to nominate myself.
Chantel Chambers. Is there anyone else? All right, so nominations are now closed. Chantel Chambers, please give us 2 minutes why you would make a great recording secretary.
Thank you, District 28. Thank you, council members. This past year, I served as the recording secretary. It was an honor and a pleasure to be at service along with this council, helping to move things along, helping to keep our things in affairs in order. I learned a lot working with the president, working with our administrative assistant. I look forward to doing more and to learning more with this council. Thank you.
Thank you. So we will now do the roll call. Keita Williams.
Secretary. You did a wonderful job. My question,
Do you have a willingness to
do you have a willingness to serve?
I do.
And you have my vote.
Thank you.
Kenya Townsend.
Yes.
Eric Gregg.
Yes.
Right. Jennifer Silvers.
Yes.
Alicia Lauer.
Yes.
Lauren Glavin.
Yes.
Lou Zhao.
Yes.
Lauren Perkins. Congratulations. Chantel, you are a recording secretary. Next, next position, we will now elect the treasurer for District 28, CEC. Are there any nominations for treasurer?
I would like to nominate myself.
All right, we have Alicia Bauer. Is there anyone else? All right, so we will now close nominations. Alicia, could you please give us 2 minutes on why you would make an amazing treasurer?
Hello, everybody. Outside of the greatest privilege and honor to serve as a CC member, I've been the treasurer for this school year, and I learned a lot. And I think we kind of developed maybe a rhythm of doing things on CC, and my learning curve was quite large. And I feel it would be unfair to step down and have someone to start from ground zero. Learning it's such an uneasy role, in my opinion. But since I already got it, I will just continue with that and hopefully even improve next year. So I would like to just be helpful and continue to use my knowledge.
Thank you, Alicia. We will now do the roll call for the vote. Council Member Paquita Williams.
You did a wonderful job last year. Do I need to say any more? You helped me. If it wasn't for you, I'd be looking for the documents, was patient, loving, and I appreciate it. You know my question. Do you have a willingness to serve?
I do.
You have my vote. Mhm. Okay.
Kenya Townsend,
Yes.
very good. Chantel,
Yes, wonderful job.
Deborah Silvers,
Yes.
Lauren Clavin,
Yes.
Luzau, Lauren Perkins,
Yes.
Glenn Benson, yes. Awesome.
Should I read Cecily's
Oh,
message?
our council member Cicely did send a message via email because she couldn't be here. Chantel is gonna read it.
Okay, this message is from Cecily Chu, one of our council members. It says, due to a prearranged family commitment and international travel, I am unable to attend the July 2nd, 2026 CEC 28 meeting. If officer elections or re-elections are held during this meeting, I would like to express my support for the current CEC 28 leadership team to remain in their roles, including but not limited to the re-election of President Quentin Mezitin, First Vice President Lauren Clavin, Second Vice President Jennifer Sobers, Recording Secretary Chantel Chambers, and Treasurer Alicia Bauer. I appreciate the leadership continuity and service this team has provided to CEC 28, and I would like my support to be noted on the record. Thank you, Cecily Chu.
Thank you. And now that we've elected all of our officers, this annual meeting is adjourned. Time is 7:12. This meeting is adjourned. Yep. All right. Time is now 7:12, and I will be calling this meeting July 2nd at 7:13 now, calendar business meeting to order. Great day, District 28. We have a easy meeting. Today's hot, and I'm glad that you guys are at home in the AC, I hope, because we came out here in person and we suffered through it just because we love you guys. So we appreciate you guys staying up for us as well. First thing on our agenda today is it's been emailed as an attachment as you signed up for this meeting, and all of our council members do have the drafted bylaw amendments. This is something that we had a bylaws meeting on, and there were certain amendments that are there, and The goal is that we all get to review these amendments. And we have time now. If there's any questions or anything, we can go over it. But of course, this is just the amendments. But before I continue, I want to acknowledge our Spanish interpreters. Spanish interpreters, could you please announce yourselves and put your information in the chat?
Okay, I will do it. Bienvenidos a todos y buenas noches. Para escuchar la reunión en español, llamar al número 347-966-4114, seguido del código 247-558-6300, signo numeral. Por favor, mantener en modo silencio los micrófonos en sus dispositivos para evitar ruidos de fondo durante la interpretación simultánea. Gracias. Announcement has been complete.
Thank you. And First Vice President, Lauren Clavin, could you please mention your announcement in the chat?
Yes, the chat is open. It will stay that way as long as commenters remain respectful. I also noted in the chat that if you want to speak during public comment, you have another 15 minutes to speak in the chat, and we will put you on the list. Thank you so much.
All right, back to our bylaws amendments. So the bylaws that all of us right now have are in black and white. We had highlighted the amendments, but we only have black and white computers in the DOE, and we don't have color. So if you pull it up on your computer, you could actually see the highlights. And Second Vice President, would you want to do the honors of sharing screens?
Oh, sure, I don't have it up.
No problem. We're gonna share it on screen, so everyone can see the proposed amendments. Yes. No.
What's the purpose? To review this together right now?
Yes. Just to review the amendments that were highlighted, just so we could take it into account, and then we could think about it. We vote next meeting.
Okay. I'm wondering if it would be a better idea for us, because I haven't had a chance to review it. I don't know. Has everyone?
Well, we're about to
reviewed
look at it right now.
That's all.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is the best use of our time, or am I alone here? We do have a lot of, I'm just noting a lot of people signed up to speak.
So you want to go through it quickly? Yeah. What?
Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I give a.
Yeah, you
say
have a
something?
suggestion?
Well, no, I just wanted to mention something.
Yeah.
Let me just unmute. I happen to see all the people who want to speak, and I think, I've been told many times that, the most important part of our meetings to a good number of people are the public speaking and our member reports. So I think that is a good thing to bring up. The only thing that's a kind of, an issue is that, these, amendments and bylaws have been circulated a lot of times. And I don't know, I'm venturing to guess you're not the only one who didn't review them.
Maybe I am.
I think so. So I just wonder if it might just be better to look at them together. And so this way we know they've been looked at, you know what I mean? And we don't have to wonder anymore. Okay. I don't know, that's just, but at the same time, I do see there was a lot of comment.
No, we're voting next month.
Amendments on the way. I just thought that we would just recommend.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to.
Hold on one sec. Hold on one second, guys. Our face liaison. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not voting. That's what you want to say?
It takes 2 months for bylaws to pass.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
But no, I said that.
Also, I just wanted to say that reviewing them and voting still allows a window of time for people to now leave this meeting and now whoever didn't have a chance to review it to still do it. And then at voting, we still have an opportunity to have discussion during a vote. So I just wanted to make sure that I said that because I feel like just based on your comment, Lauren, it feels like you know, because it's presented today, there won't be another opportunity to, you know, give input, and that's not actually true. So I just want to make sure. Does that make sense? Lauren?
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's not what I was saying. It's fine. No.
What were you saying though?
Just.
I just want to be clear, so we on the same page.
To review them, I don't want to belabor the point and waste any more time. Let's proceed, we can proceed, it's fine.
It wasn't belaboring, it was just, this literally, I said something, I wanted you to comment back, so that way everyone else, I'm sure there might be other people that were confused, since you said you were confused. That was it. But you're not confused anymore, like you're 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Okay, cool. So, all right, so so we're going to, so I'm glad that we all have these, so we can just, like I said, review these later, but there were just several amendments that we highlighted, and we're just going to just go through them, and everybody could take these into account, and we can always follow up between now and then.
So, you want me to just, would you like to just look at the amendments or just?
Yeah. We're not gonna read the whole thing, just the
Gotcha.
amendments. Because it's, for the community, they have the attachment as well, so
Okay.
everyone, yes. And it's highlighted.
Can you see?
Yeah, I got it. So, first one, we added in, Chancellor, we have constitute valid excuses for absence. We added observing religious holidays because it wasn't specifically in there, and we just wanted to observe all religious holidays as a valid excuse for an absence. Let me just keep going. Let's see.
Page of paragraph, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. That was,
6.
yes, page 6.
What paragraph is that?
In our thing is page 7 at the first paragraph. You want to highlight or note in your hard copy. So it starts at the bottom of page 6 as provided and then goes to the top of page 7. Observing religious holidays.
All right, the next one in section 1.2, calendar business and working meetings. The agenda for each calendar business working meeting shall be developed by the president. Members of the council shall have the opportunity to place an item on the agenda by notifying the president in writing 15 calendar days before the meeting, the 1st to the 15th of each month, to raise issues for consideration under new business. So that was something we just edified in the bylaws. In the first 15 days of the month, we can propose any new things to be added to the agenda to send out for the next month's meeting, pretty much. Oh,
You have the original.
you have the original.
Is that the original? Okay, perfect.
So
Oh,
let's see.
okay, so, and then this is the next one.
All right, so for the next order of business at calendar meeting, section 2, we just put the order as in for calendar meetings, call to order and roll call, report of president, report of superintendent, and we put presentation as number 4, then resolutions, then public speakers, and then council member reports.
Is
Yeah.
it okay to talk?
Yeah.
Or maybe you
Just
have
go
to
what
let
it
them
was?
know, right, unless I put a split
You-
screen now.
You don't have this one.
I can find it on our website, yes.
It should.
It's on our website. But I don't.
I guess, yeah, we should. Okay, yes, and the reason why we did the public speakers in front of the council members was because every meeting for the last 2 years, we've been making a motion to put the parents to speak before council members. But now that it will be in our bylaws, if this is approved, we will not have to make that motion, and we could always hear out our parents first without a motion.
Here, as you can.
Yeah.
Switch.
Oh, you gotta get out.
Get out.
Unless you could do the screen, can you do the screen on Apple?
No. What did you try to? I'd like to put the old bylaws.
Oh, by side.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's gonna be visible, but.
This is good enough. Okay. Because then they can't see.
I can show.
Yes, at least to let them see.
Don't worry.
The old bylaw.
We have time. Share both at the same time. So we're looking to do dual screen for you guys real quick so you can see what it was to what it is. Original order?
Yeah.
Call to order, program, presentation, and report president, report of superintendent, report of committees, resolutions, public speakers. And then we broke them up and moved them so it could be in the order that we've kind of been already doing it, but then now it's actually in our bylaws to do it in that order, which should work smoothly for our council. Next.
And also including council member reports instead of it saying.
Committee
reports.
But yeah, we don't do committees reports. Let's see. Okay, so for public comment, it was public comment shall be limited to 2 minutes per speaker. A timer shall be utilized to ensure compliance with the allotted speaking time. This procedure is intended to promote orderly meetings, equitable participation, and provide a consistent framework for future councils and adherence to applicable meeting location requirements and time constraints. Council member reports shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker, inclusive of questions and answers. A timer shall be utilized to ensure compliance with the allotted speaking time. This procedure is intended to promote orderly meetings, equitable participation, provide a consistent framework for future councils and adherence to applicable meeting location requirements and time constraints. An agenda presentation may be allotted 5 to 7 minutes as determined by the council president or presiding officer and shall not be subject to the timer unless otherwise directed by the council president or the presiding officer. So you want to show the where that
Yes. This starts with
regular.
public.
Yep. So originally it said the public shall have the opportunity to comment on resolutions on the agenda prior to council vote by signing the speakers list. In addition, the public speaker session shall be conducted without agenda or other formalities subject to the council's prerogative to require speakers to have signed the speakers list and to manage time. Speaking time is limited to 3 minutes per person, including questions and answers. The time may be extended at the discretion of the chair and may be limited if necessary to allow all persons who have signed the speakers list to speak. Discussion and charges relating to the competence or personal conduct of an individuals will be ruled out of order. The speaker who is ruled out of order forfeits the balance of his or her time and will be directed to leave the microphone. The chair may take appropriate measures to ensure the ruling. That's what it was. We kind of just added even more structure to it, and we added the timer, we added the minutes, we actually put the parents at 2 minutes, and we put the council members at 3 minutes, and we all structured it in time for the reasons of this equity, but also conducting an orderly meeting and making it equitable participation from all parents, members, in all those ways. So that's kind of the amendment, but we have a comment on that?
Yep, I have a comment. I didn't happen, I don't think I was in the majority, I don't know, to agree with this timing. Our bylaws originally had the public comment at 3 minutes, and I think that's a appropriate amount of time. It's challenging. I've spoken at meetings myself, different meetings. I try to write out things ahead of time, and it's challenging to fit everything in 2 minutes. I think 3 minutes is a better amount of time. I don't see why it needs to be shortened. We never had a time limit for the member reports. I do think that we want to try to have effective meetings for sure. However, I do think that there are a number of issues that members may need to bring up each month for the membership, for our families, for the superintendent's office to hear, the district office to hear. And it may not be possible at all to limit it to 3 minutes. Some of the most important advocacy that's come out of this group, in my opinion, last year was, I think, represented by member reports, and definitely member reports that were very thorough, brought important issues to light, and were able to make good gains because of them. I think that since we discussed this some months ago, there was a commitment, I thought, by all of the members, including me, who's long-winded, to try to shorten our reports and tighten them up and make them as concise as possible. I've started to try my best to make slides ahead of time, so to make them shorter. And I think that wording here that says members should make every effort to be as concise and tight as possible with the reports is important for a highly effective meeting, is how I think that would work, and I think that would be sufficient. I just in general, I don't like that there's this inequity of timing, and then presenters can present without a timer for maybe 5 to 7 minutes or longer. I don't think that that aligns with what I've been told by members of our community is the most important parts to them of our meetings. So I would not, and I don't know how this works, honestly. I wouldn't want to oppose the entire amendments just because I don't agree with one or two things. So I don't know how that works, but I wouldn't support these restrictions.
Noted, and thank you. And all council members, please feel free to review, give your feedback, because everyone's feedback is valid, and nothing that we say is right or wrong. And this is something that we do, that we will vote on, and the majority will be kind of like what is what we vote on. Now, of course, I agree with everything Jennifer said. We have amazing advocates. What I'm looking at is the whole. So we have a whole district, we have a whole community, we have a whole council, and it's about what can we come together with that everyone can be in agreement with, that will support everyone. And that might not make everyone like the happiest at times, but it's about what can we do that's best for all of us and still have a effective, impactful advocacy does not stop because we have a different set of rubric or a different way of intentions or bullet points. It's how we still show up for ourselves, for our community, for our schools. And if we have this amendment in there, it's open for discussion. The vote is in another month, but it's just something that we were looking at the bigger picture of time constraints. We have a permit here, and then we have parents, we have council reports, we have a full council. We have to introduce our newest council members soon. And yeah, so what can work for future councils and work for us now to be timely, in order, equitable? And this is an idea, but it's open for feedback. So this is not set in stone. However, this was proposed as an idea. So let's continue as we.
No, thank you.
Oh, wait, you have feedback?
Yeah, I wanted.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
My feedback is more of a question. So, if we decide to use the language that Jennifer suggested, where there's no time listed specifically for the member reports, because if we all have the mindset to be concise, can we see how that works? Is there time to try it out? Kenya did suggest this in our bylaws meeting. Is there time to try these things out to see if it works? Because we do not want to stay past our allotted time. Is there an opportunity to try it out before we make it, set it in stone? Can we see if, with that language, will everybody be concise? And then what's the rubric for concise? Who's going to be saying whether the report was concise or not? So those are some of the questions I have.
I have my hand raised. I don't know if it could be. Thank you. Hi, everyone. So yeah, honestly, I will say that this is pretty much a frustrating conversation from the committee, from the emails to now bringing it up here. And it just feels like we're making this bigger than it really needs to be. And I feel like as volunteers who are all giving their time to important work in the community, no one is saying, because I do think that an undertone of this is that folks feel like their voices are being diminished or their work is being diminished. And I just want to say out loud and on the record that no one wants to diminish folks' voices. I think we're trying to talk about efficiency. I'm open to piloting. I'm open to doing things. And if we vote and it passes, there's always going to be somebody unhappy, right? And so like, I think that this to me feels like another attempt of kind of just like standing ground on something that we haven't voted on. It hasn't really gone forward. So we're now spending another 10, 15 minutes on something that we've talked about already. And so I just wanted to say that out loud because there's much context even for me. I'm not even a new here from the emails that I'm reading. Other things have happened before I got here that this is still coming up from. And it's a waste of time. And for this to be just like a process. And I don't want to say like bylaws are a waste of time, right? It is a guide, a governing document for when we need it. But I think 2 minutes and even finding, like what I also said in the meeting, is finding other spaces for, I saw Adriana say she agrees to what Jennifer mentioned about wanting to hear what the concerns and what the community wants to hear that. I think that we can talk up amongst ourselves as adults and grownups who all are giving our time to figure out what that looks like. And it doesn't need to mean that our reports now need to be not timed. And I think that those are two separate issues that we're trying to conflate into one. And so I really want folks to be able to hear that, since I know that there's things that they may not know if they're just hearing this for the first time. And that's everything I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, Lakita,
We're talking about.
are you unmuted?
Oh, okay, thank you. Good evening, all. So, we're talking about the timing of the reports, right? As a person that have a willingness to serve, I want to do my best. We didn't have it written in stone from previous years. I think, well, like I've been here forever. But from, the last year before last, when I was here, it was just said. It was said, council member, you have 2 minutes, and we were able to share what was going on in 2 minutes. Now, when we first do our visits to the schools, we find out, what are the main issues, and the main issues that we want to take back to, like, either the SCA, or if there's an issue with a parent or a teacher or an issue, the principal, and we can bring it to A, B, C, or D. That's like what we do in the beginning. Now, and I always had a problem, like, after that, what am I talking about? After that. So that's when those other things can come in, about the tree that was in the backyard. That could have been another meeting. The hole that was, no, now the hole that was in the ceiling, that was a discussion to have, like, at our first meeting when we first go into our schools in view. But in my opinion, maybe we need maybe 3 minutes. And then if you have someone that's given a presentation, yeah, you want to give them a little bit time, because, we allot that time for that person to give that presentation. And, from what I do with question and answers, you have 20 minutes or whatever the time we want to allow them. But as council members, as 12, if we do 10 minutes, 5 minutes, because I think, what I have to say, you got to hear it, and you got to hear it all. We'll be here all night. I'm here volunteering. We'll be here all night. So we can maybe 3 minutes. Maybe we can give each other, we can make the bylaws for 3 minutes, and let's see how that works. Because I don't know. I don't want to be here all night. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here all night. So you can mute me now.
Thank you, Lakita. Let's keep moving. Let's continue. So,
Then y'all come the next one. I'm cold.
Okay. All right, section 2.1, the agenda for each calendar business working meeting shall be developed by the president. Members of the council shall have the opportunity to place an item on the agenda by notifying the president, writing 15 calendar days before the meeting, 1st to 15 of each month, and raise issues for consideration under new business. Prior to adjournment, the chair business working meeting shall ask whether there is any new business to be introduced before the council. Section 2.2, order of business. The order of business at any business working meeting, unless otherwise prescribed by the president, shall be as follows. Call to order and roll call, review and action on pending absences, approval of minutes, discussion items, action items, announcements, and adjournment.
So there's not really anything, yeah, that's.
Yeah, so we added that because there was no structure and it was kind of vague, so we wanted to put in order. All right, continue. Let's see, unless there's feedback, we're good. All right. Yeah, I think, is there more? It shall be the responsibility of the committee chairs to schedule meetings, notify committee members and the public of all meetings, maintain accurate records of all activities, and report to the council following any committee meeting or as otherwise requested by the council or the president. That seems pretty specific, but it just wasn't as specific.
You see it?
Yeah, so what we had originally, it shall be the responsibility of committee chairs to schedule meetings, notify committee members and the public of all meetings, maintain accurate records of all activities, and report monthly to the council. Each committee shall operate under open meetings law and these bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order newly revised, and all committee recommendations shall be subject to approval by the council. That was our update to that part. Any feedback? We continue. All right. Let's see what's. All right, the Community Education Council in District 28 shall engage annually with the duly elected officers of the PAPTAs in the district. This requirement may be satisfied by the president of the Community Education Council District 28 or their designee attending and presenting at least once each school year at District 28's President's Council meeting, and by the president of the District 28's President's Council and their designee attending and presenting at least once each school year at Community Education Council District 28 meeting. Remember this correctly. Blah, 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 blah. Was that right next? The Council's active partnerships. Yes. So pretty much in the original, it was meeting quarterly, which we haven't been doing, meeting quarterly throughout the school year. But we do have a great relationship. So we just kind of put this in the bylaws to meet annually for every school year instead of quarterly, to present at each other's councils. That was pretty much that. And I think was that the last? That might be it, right? Awesome. Awesome. Oh yeah, that was everything. All right, so that was everything. Everyone has this in their email. Council members, we have it printed out here. If you have anything that comes to mind later tomorrow, please feel free to let us know. But next meeting, we will be having a vote on it. So we do have time, as was mentioned several times, to still make some updates or revisions in the meantime. So I just want the conversation can still go, but as of now, we will be going to our next thing on the agenda, unless anybody did have any feedback on the bylaws, or we're good for now.
One quick question.
Yes.
I was thinking about something, but the excuse for absent. It says the failed to attend 3 regular scheduled calendar meetings. Within what grade? Like 1 year, 1 term? There's no limit on it.
Gotcha.
I believe
It's
it's a term.
either term or.
Or, yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, super.
It's a
Yeah.
term.
That what
It's
does
not clear.
it's not clear.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up, Lou. See? All right.
So, how?
No, that's something we can look into.
Yeah.
You would want it to be more direct.
Right.
Is
so
it
basically,
the whole
so
term,
within-
2 years, or within the school year?
Yeah, school year, calendar year, or the whole term, which is, yeah.
Do you have a?
A preference?
Oh, okay.
You just want to
Okay.
just open it up. It's not clear. No, that's something we can make more clear. All right, thank you. All right. Next on our agenda, contracts for excellence. I would like to welcome our superintendent, Dr. Blake. Welcome to new school year.
All right. I just want to make sure that's been seen. I want to say good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. I'm Superintendent Blake, and I want to thank you for allowing me to present this, to make this presentation around our budget, contract for excellence, and small class funding. I'm joined tonight by our Executive Director, Dr. Benoit, Deputy Superintendent, Angela Tushman, and also budget matter expert, Jogamira Kovila. She's our senior grants expert who supports our schools with budget and grant related matters. I'm also joined by other members of the district team. So today we'll share our plan for state contracts for excellence funding, also known as the C4E, and our proposed class size reduction plan. All right, so the contracts for excellence, a little background on that. It is legislation that was established as part of the 2007-2008 school year, enacted by the state budget on the foundation aid, and requires that a portion of foundation aid be used for specific restricted purposes. The C4E, or Contract for Excellence, as it is called, requires that funding be allocated towards specific programs that raise the achievement of students with the greatest educational need, including but not limited to students with limited English proficiency and students with disabilities, with other needs. In 2022, C4E legislation was amended to include additional requirements related to class size limits. Funding must be spent under this funding category within the following initiatives. For illustration, examples of programs by initiatives will include time and task, which is giving students additional instructional time, like extended school year. Right now, they're doing the summarizing. We have extended school year for some students, after school academic support, and also model programs for multilingual learners, like expansion of bilingual resources and programs within many schools or resources in the libraries. Full day pre-K, pre-kindergarten and kindergarten, adding classes with additional staff, and our costs related to implementing the full day pre-kindergarten 4K. And the biggest one for us is class size reduction, where funds are given to hire additional teachers, paying for teachers' salaries to reduce class size or reduce the student-teacher ratio. And other things like principal can do certain initiatives, creation of a non-cash incentive program for some districts and for high schools and so on. So for more information about the eligible uses of the C4E funding, you can go to the state website and gather the information there. So this is in terms of monetary contract for excellences. For excellence funding increased by $269 million up from over $1 million, over $1 billion, from $269 million to over $1 $1.089 billion. And for our fiscal year 2027, it has moved another increase from 1 billion 0.89 to, you see the number 1.358. So it increases there. This is comprised of $224 million of new funding to be used for class size reduction. And then proposed allocation for 2027 is 1.358 billion, as I mentioned. And out of that, you have discretionary funding, several buckets of money, targeted maintenance of effort, $871 million, and $465 million for class size reduction mandate to continue those mandates. How does all of that relate to our district? So this is just a general overview of the funding for New York City public schools. But what about our particular district, District 28? So this is how the allocations were done. Discretionary schools decide to use within allowable programs. They're given discretionary funding over $16 million, which is 31.82%. Contra for excellence to reduce class size. Our district got over 20 million, which is 39.35%. And of course, the other buckets of money like the FSF, fair student funding. The amount is indicated there. Phasing for class size is also very important, over $2 million for that. And integrated co-teaching classrooms, very, very important, where our students are with greatest needs are given opportunity to have 2 teachers in the classroom. It's called the co-teaching classrooms. And then summer programming, such as what we're looking at now with ESY, as well as summarizing. So the total is over. The district is realizing over 52 million in terms of the allocation of funds, proposed funds for District 28. So this is how we are benefiting from it. We, as a district, have received, I mean, everybody sent a proposal, and we were able to get quite a number of our schools allocated with class size funding. Specifics will be provided later on, because we're still going through that process of finalizing what it looks like. So the public comment, this is where the public, you could give your feedback. Members of the council or the public could give your feedback in coming weeks, as we continue to work towards compliance and to fulfill those mandates. The deadline for that, because the budget did arrive late this year, that's why we're having this conversation now. Usually it's in June or even earlier, but the deadline for submitting public comments is July 29th. And educators, parents, your attention has been directed to this presentation. That is where you may email your comments to contractsforexcellence@schools.nyc.gov. So that's a big bucket of money, and then we could really do well with your input. Because of your advocacy, we're able to get our schools, on the good, strong footing. Class size reduction. This is a draft plan that's been posted as part of the Contracts for Excellence public process. Members of the public are able to give feedback through this process, and following public feedback, New York City Public Schools will work with the teachers and principals union, the unions, to finalize the plans, because nothing can be done without the teachers union and the principal unions. Under the law, these unions must sign off on the plan prior to it being finalized. So we are inviting in an open dialogue, transparency, to look at the plan and to see what's best for our district. The plan outlines school level policies and central level policies. And then this is a breakdown of the funds across all the districts, District 1 all through the 32 districts. And if you see our number right there, District 28, we have 56%. So we are getting on the pathway to compliance. There are certain obstacles, however, that will affect every school in terms of not meeting 100% of compliance. And we'll talk about those later on, right? So this is still looking at the change over time for our District 28. You could see the number right there, 25%. And right now we're going to 56%, as was noted on the other slide. So we are trying, especially looking at our middle school and our elementary schools. Not so much with the high school, that's a different bucket, but we are really trying our best to see if we could come into compliance with classes, and we're really advocating for that. So the summary of the draft class size reduction plan. With exemptions for 25-26, the city reached a compliance rate of 64%, 59.5 without exemptions, which exceeded the 60% requirement on the law. So right now, as a city system, we're at 64%, we're within the law. Intensive focus on space. Space is really a barrier for us to get to implement your class size. However, we're looking at SCA, School Construction Authority, to come up with plans to give capital funding or to reallocate space in schools so as to help us to get, to the class size mandate. So continued commitment to teacher hiring is very important, which is New York City's focus on recruiting teachers by continued commitments to advertising, hiring, network events to get the class size, down to where we want it. So such programs as the Teaching Fellows programs, a lot of investments are being funneled in that direction. And funding for hiring, for teacher hiring, is also very important to get to our class size reduction. Pathways to align space and capital resources to demand. And this is only showing us the map that from what's the priority around high school, what's the priority around capital and non-capital, right? So non-capital, looking at class size, looking at enrollment to leverage, caps and so on to make sure that our kids are working operating within classrooms where it's just the right number of students, student-teacher ratio again, all the way to looking at building, creating buildings for capital funding to identify new space and new classrooms. And we are really advocating for those in District 28, which is one of the most overcrowded spots. So we are on the forefront advocating for that, and with space planning in collaboration with them, and to address that our needs should be at the very front of the line. So yours truly is very strong in advocating for that. And to that extent, we have seen progress. We're not fully there yet, but this is exactly what the plans are for allocating for spending the funds for Contract for Excellence, C4E, it's called as an abbreviation, and also small class size. So the public comment again, for both instances, parents, anybody in the CC could make public comments. You could submit your comments by email to classsize@schools.nyc.gov. So we have the two. The one was Contract for Excellence at schools.nyc.gov. And this is about class size at schools.nyc.gov to really let your voices be heard so that we together can make collaborative decisions about what's best for our school and for our community. Thank you. So that's the end of the public phase. I'll be more than willing. I'm Dragamira, who's the official grants officer for the district, will be able to answer questions as we try to sort. And please, I'm asking you, even more importantly than tonight, please put your comments into the site classsize@schools.nyc.gov. We look at everybody's comments and you can help to shape the policy. And I know that we're very vocal as a district, as a CC, and we need to continue to let your voices be heard because we need to translate this into action. We need more of our schools to be in compliance with small class size. So let your voices be heard along, I'm advocating, but your voices together can be very powerful, and together we can go very far. So I want to thank you very much for hearing through this presentation, and Dragamira will be there to answer any other question. But overall, the conversation will continue. It is not just an ending, it's the beginning of the conversation. So thanks for your indulgence tonight, and enjoy your holiday weekend and enjoy the rest of summer. I'm still in the schools, not on summer, but enjoy the rest. So thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.
Yes. Well, thank you, Superintendent Dr. Blake, for that. And yes, parents, please, do you have any comments? I see you guys in the chat, and I see that the district is responding, and we do have parent section coming up now. So we do have the senior grant officer here. So if any questions are related to that, we will get those questions answered. So
I have a question. Did you?
oh, we all have questions? Yeah, we all have questions. Okay, so we have some questions starting, and then we're going to start the public comment section. But council members who have questions, you want to?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Blake, for that. And I think you did mention this in during your comments, but I just wanted to be sure that, because I know that some schools that applied for the funding didn't receive it. So I just wanted to make sure that we will be given that information, because that has been asked of us as council members. So I'm just curious, when we might know a breakdown of who asked for it and did not receive it, and who received it. Thanks so much.
Most welcome. Just to respond, so by your next meeting, you'll be able to get, or before the next meeting, you'll be able to have that detailed breakdown.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Jennifer?
Thanks, Dr. Blake. And then just in addition to that, it would, at least the schools, if not us, be told why they didn't receive the funding. And my information that I have received is that the letters are just like, you have not been approved, and they're not sure why. Will that information at least be shared with the principals?
Oh, definitely, yes. So usually the DOE sort of gives a sort of generic response, but every school did have a proposal, and we could explain based on what they told us. We could explain to every school as to why. And the basic thing is about so everyone kept space is one of the biggest issue that is just not possible with the situation, with their unique situation. But every school has a particular proposal, and then I could discuss it with them one-on-one. So they'll be informed.
Will they be able to possibly appeal any decisions? So for example, if a school does not have a space issue but was still denied, is there some sort of a appeal process?
As far as I know, they'll have to try again the next school year, because they only allocated X number of funds for this small class size. So if the schools are not like last year, some of the schools who did not get, they were able to go get the second time around. So we just want to keep it going to encourage the principals to send in the proposal. Let's keep stubbornly at it, and then let's see what happens. But there's no like appeal process, but they could try again the other year.
And also, can you confirm if I got the correct understanding that the breakdown of the funding for District 28 is not something that is in the superintendent's control, that was dictated to us? Confirm that, and then please let us know what advocacy is being done so that we can get as much funding as possible, because there's no secret. Every data point that is around shows that District 28 is one of the least compliant districts in the entire city. So what advocacy is being done so that we can try to actually comply with this law?
All right, so Jogima, you want to answer that first, and then I'll take on the second.
Yeah, I think there's several parts to this question. So like Dr. Blake mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, there's discretionary funding, and then there's targeted funding, and then there's new monies that is specifically allocated for class size reduction. So the discretionary piece is what goes into the schools, and this is where the principals alongside the school community and SLT have some control over this funding. And they need to be spent in the allowable categories, which were also mentioned at the beginning of the presentation: time on task, extended learning time, etc. There's several of them. This is what the schools have control over. The targeted piece is allocated centrally. And then the piece that has to do with the plans, this is based on the plan. So the school dictates the plan in this case. So there's several different buckets where some are under the control of the schools and some aren't.
Just to add to Chilomira's response for Jennifer from Miss Sober. So, schools are given funds based on, the students in terms of registration and the students' particular needs, right? So District 28 has a strong multicultural, multilingual need for like bilingual, and so that will become like a real focus in terms of monies to be given, and also students with disabilities. So the students fund the school system based on the type of students we have. Also, another big piece of the funding is around fair student funding and Title I funding. And so, unfortunately, many of our schools, especially on the north side, are not classified as Title I, and that they lose a lot of money for that, because Title I is based on economic index, the need of the poverty level. And many of our schools on certain part of the district are excluded because they're not in that poverty level. So different categories of students or situations will fund the school. And as I said, it goes into discretionary funding, goes into fair student funding. So there are different funding streams. But the particular need of the students, if you have a high needs population of kids who are English language proficiency, with least, limited language proficiency, then the funding is allocated based on that. Kids with special needs, fundings are allocated based on that as well.
Can I just add as well, Dr. Blake, if you don't mind?
Of course.
Because I'm trying to look at the chat as well as while you all are speaking. The push is to get all schools to some level of compliance, right? So the goal is for the city as a whole in totality and not individual schools within an individual district, right? New York City has to comply as a whole. So the city is chipping away slowly, reducing class size in pockets across districts and across the city. And that's where we see some schools getting funded and some schools getting not, right? So yeah, so Adriana has it right in the chat. It's as compliant as possible, which is kind of like the vagueness of this class size rule that allows not, against our better wishes, but allows for every school to not meet compliance, right? So it is get as many schools as close as we can to somewhat of compliance. So once, say PS1 gets some classes into compliance, then we go to PS2 and get some of those classes into compliance. And then we're like, okay, District 20,000, I'm just using fake numbers because I don't want you to quote me on anything, but District 1,000,000 has some level of compliance, and now we're going to go on to District 2,000,000, right? So that's the situation that we're in as a city as a whole right now. So some schools were across the city, but specifically we're talking about District 28, were given funds last year to reduce some classes. This year, those funds continued in those schools, but they didn't get additional funds. Other schools may have gotten new funds this year, right? So again, school one got money last year. They keep that money, but they're only remaining compliant in that small group, right? Now, school two gets money this year, and they're only compliant in this small subsection, right? So you're following me? So it's kind of like we're just chipping away little by little, school by school. And then again, like Dr. Blake mentioned, some schools don't even have the physical capacity. So while the schools that do have the physical space and are willing and able, the funding is not available because, again, it's going in the city in totality. And then the schools that don't have space are getting nothing because they're like, you don't even have the space, so we're not giving you anything. So that's the situation we're in. And I see again in the chat about advocacy due to new buildings and things like that. And I know this was brought up at last month's meeting as well, that we are very concerned as a district, as a CEC, about the new buildings and apartments and all of that are being built up around our city, specifically in the Forest Hills, Regal Park area. I know that there is a lot of places being built. I know the Jamaica rezoning, we've talked about that each month. And Dr. Blake, myself, and Dr. Benoit have been on multiple meetings with space planning over the last few weeks to kind of just bring this to their attention. So when you're saying what's happening, yes, there is absolute advocacy on our part to bring back, hey, the CEC is bringing to our attention, or the borough president is bringing to our attention these new structures going up, and where are these kids going to go to school? And so this is not falling on deaf ears. I know that, from month to month, it may not seem like we have a lot of progress to share with you all, but I can assure you that in the background, we are working diligently and having consistent conversations. But, I think Alessia said it earlier that she learned so much about this system and how long some things take over the short tenure that you've been in the position. And so, I just, again, I'll just end it at this, to assure you that Dr. Blake, Dr. Benoit, and I, along with the advocacy of the CEC, is working really hard to get our voices heard and to not only get the funding, get the space in the buildings that we have, and get more space for more schools to be built. So that's where we're at, and that's why we could really use your comments to that public comment email address. That would be amazing.
Thank you. Just one last comment on that. So it's been done incrementally, as Angela pointed out, like last year, so they're hoping that by the next year or two, we have other schools in District 28 that will come into compliance as well. Thanks.
Yeah, okay. So, thank Dr. Blake, and I have a quick question, fairly specific actually. So because the PS03 has this budget problem that kind of worry a lot of parents. So I was looking into this and just pull up two schools, 303 and 196. The difference is it's not in the student funding or the C2E, but there are other things, like there's a category called all other state and local funding and all other federal funding. Those two schools are fairly similar, comparable on many sense, but they have very large differences in terms of funding. So this result like a huge difference in per student funding. One is 1,400, another is 1,900. So there's like $5,000 between those two schools. They're very similar schools. So obviously I wouldn't expect you to explain all the details, but my question is more like how I can contact someone or work with someone to understand the differences. And of course, for Three's case, if they can find the funding to continue their program, which they are supposed to maybe cut, that would be great. But if not, at least I have something to explain to the parents. Thank you.
Yes, that's true. Good observation. Like especially with 196 and 303, they may be geographically similar. I mean, seem to be very similar, but if you drill it down, there are certain differences that make the funding stream different again. Maybe one school might have a higher percentage of Title one might have almost zero, so that does affect the funding stream as well. But we could have further discussion about that. But both schools are doing very well, and but the funding stream is different because of those lunch forms are very important. But even sometimes it doesn't rise to that level because of the poverty level again, hardly almost zero in one of those or two of those schools.
Just quickly. Can I mean, who should I email to if you have a, more detailed question on these issues?
You can reach out to me directly, or you can just email me directly, eblake@schools, or we stop by, we could talk, have a conversation.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, district office. You guys are on this, and thank you for giving us, answers to our questions. I'm pretty sure we might have more as we go and dissect this, but it's glad to know that you guys are aware, you guys are on the ground, you guys are on our side in working out these solutions and making sure that we understand it and available. So thank you for your availability. You could be on vacation, but you're not. You're here. You're available. So we appreciate that. And I appreciate if you do take vacation too sometimes. But next we'll be going to our parent section. And as a test, we want to see by implementing a timer how this goes. So parents, there are a lot of parents tonight. And going to have Councilmember Kenya put the timer, and going to have First Vice President Lauren go down the speaker list. Two minutes.
Thanks, everyone. The first speaker I have is Kate Mulvaney.
Hi, thank you. It took me a minute to get off of mute. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, great. Good evening. My name is Kate Mulvaney, and I have a first grader at PS 196 in Forest Hills. Earlier this year, my son came home from school and told me he had read about kidnapping in school. This was around the time Savannah Guthrie's mom disappeared, and when I probed a bit, I found out that he did it during free time in his class on his iPad. Now, this has been resolved at the school level. That's one thing, but needless to say, I was shocked, and it wasn't because my budding reader was able to read the word kidnap. When I looked into it, I discovered that my son's iPad lacked any basic parental protection. I had naively assumed that since the iPad was issued by school, that it would have sensible child protections built into it. But I couldn't have been more wrong. Not only does he have access to the expanse of the internet, but YouTube as well. And someone who, as a teenager, when AOL was popular, I'm very familiar with the unsolicited images the internet has to offer children, and I don't want that for my son. We keep our son away from our phones, and his only personal device is the one the school has issued to him. We don't use the school-issued iPad at home, and we would not have purchased one for him either. I started this tech journey because honestly, I thought that the access that my son has on his iPad was crazy. But when I dug further into it, I found that this is just one of many issues with tech in our schools. The issues expand to screen time and the use of iReady, which my son's school tells me will be district mandated next fall. Is this true? I don't know. I can't get a straight answer. My son will be required to take daily assessments on his personal device and transport his iPad back and forth to school daily as a second grader for these assessments, which do nothing for his education. And from my experience, do not accurately assess his ability either. The issues with tech also expand to AI use in school. I learned that by the third grade that students are using AI in Canva, and that in order to stop students from playing around on their devices, that my son's school is now purchasing an AI tool to screen my son's screen. We are now buying tech to monitor tech. I don't know how we got here. Just quickly, LA has an LA school district has implemented some reasonable restrictions on screen time for students, and I would like to see this happen in New York City and in our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. The next speaker on the list is David Diagama. Forgive my mispronunciation.
Hi. I've pasted a link to this website, d28.vercel.app, with my sources for various claims. But yeah, generally I've been discussing it here. The issue is not, screen time or like, other things like the plumbing or like the food or like poverty or something. Like districts 20 and 25 and 30 all perform better because primarily the teachers receive the textbooks and the education apps and they kind of don't use them like iReady, they don't use that, or they try to use it as much as they're allowed to, and then they pivot to something else that actually works. So I'm wondering, like, have you guys talked to the central office to try to tell them, hey, don't renew HMH into whatever or Wit and Wisdom or anything like that. Just use the stuff that the charter schools use that actually works, or the stuff that the private. I'm not trying to be like condescending or mean, but like that's what I'm trying to. I figure many parents have asked you this, and many people have asked you. I'm not in District 28, but I graduated from MS 217, and my niece might be going there, but if the DOE isn't going to use the right materials, then we might just put her in a private school or homeschool her. So I'm wondering, like, why haven't you changed the materials for like 20 years? Basically, that's all. How do I stop or I'm just going to stop talking.
Just stop. Thanks so much. Okay. Our next speaker is Dina Katz.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Whoops. Video. Can everybody hear me or not?
Yes.
We can hear
Okay,
you.
can you see me?
We cannot see you, but we do hear you.
Okay. Okay. I am a mom of a boy, a rising first grader at PS 196. And like Kate, I'm also very concerned about screens in schools, specifically one-to-one devices. I wrote a letter to my principal requesting to opt out for first grade. And I got 13 other parents to sign on to the letter. And I guess the response was that it's just not possible at this point. And I saw Adriana had written something in the chat about discussing about opting out. That is something that I'm very interested in doing. I'm very, very concerned, similar to what Kate said about my son seeing disturbing news stories or porn on his school-issued device. And I mean, he doesn't have a device at home. He's a long time away from having his own device at home, and I was just very surprised that they have it at school. So I just wanted to. I guess I would like to find out about the opting out process and how I can do that. At this point, we are considering taking him out of school and putting him in a private school. I have a lot more to say, but I know it's like July and it's a late meeting, so I'm just going to end it there. I think everyone understands. One other thing I want to say is that, a lot of the parents who were on this call had to get off because it's bedtime for their kids, and a lot of parents who wanted to get on this call were not able to, just because of when you have young children, there's a lot of responsibilities. But almost every single parent who I spoke to feels similarly to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Dina. Our next speaker is Dorothy LeRae. I believe that they left, but they left their comment in the chat. So I'm going to read that aloud if I can find it. Okay. This is from Dorothy LeRae. They wrote, I am a parent concerned that screens are replacing teacher-led instruction for the worse. My son uses iReady regularly in and out of school After he completes a lesson, neither he nor his teacher can review the questions that he got wrong. That means teachers are losing valuable information they could use to actually teach. I also see how distracting internet-based homework is. Instead of focusing on their work, my kids try to click to other websites and I spend time redirecting them. So familiar. I've also been surprised by how often technology replaces direct instruction. My kindergartner used IXL on a tablet during the school day, and her art teacher frequently relied on YouTube drawing videos throughout the year. I've also observed lessons in my second graders' classroom where teachers primarily read from smartboard slide decks rather than teaching dynamically at the board. Please consider whether screens are harming our kids rather than serving them in schools. Okay, our next speaker is Catherine Stoltz.
Hi, thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Similar theme as others in this chat. Good evening and thank you to the board. As a parent of a son and daughter at 101, one is a rising first grader and one is a rising third grader. I want to start by saying how much I value our public school system and the incredible work that our educators do every day. This being said, the issue with tech in the New York City School District is forcing us to consider, like others, moving our children out of public school and into a private school. I'm speaking tonight to urge the district to establish clear, strict restrictions around technology in our elementary school classrooms. Specifically, this means concrete limits on Chromebook usage and the total elimination of AI tools for these early grades. I personally work at a very large tech company here in New York, and I personally see the rapid advancement and capabilities of AI firsthand. But that is honestly where I fear that without really enforceable guidelines, screens and tools will continue to inadvertently take over the learning and give our children access to inappropriate content that isn't properly policed. Ultimately, I'd like to see technology replaced or eliminated in elementary classrooms, but I know that that's quite a stretch. I also recognize that we can't simply take these tools away from our educators or our teachers who are working incredibly hard and overtime without giving these teachers tools and alternatives. I'm asking this board to actively focus on providing the teachers with resources, materials, and the support that they need so that they can make our classrooms tech-free. We do really need to prioritize hands-on face-to-face learning, keeping AI out of elementary school education, and removing screens from our child's classrooms by providing clear tools for our educators, I think will benefit all of us. Thank you for your time and your dedication to our kids.
Thank you, Catherine. Our next speaker is Jessica Zilo.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you in July. I hope everybody is staying cool. I just have 3 quick items. One is I would love to see the numbers for Summer Rising and the placement across the district. I believe that there's still a wide shortage for students being allowed to attend Summer Rising. I'm also hoping that Russell Sage gets some air conditioning in both the auditorium and the gym, or that hopefully the borough president has sent out fans again. My kid's not there this year, but that's what happened last year. It was extremely hot in that building. The second thing is that it's never too early to say that the kids' Metro card should not expire the last 2 weeks of August. That continues to be an issue. Kids are still going to camp, work, wherever they need to get around the city, but the kids' Metro cards will expire before school. You know where the kids are going to school. There's no reason to deactivate an Omni card, right? Maybe reissue them when they return to school in September if a new one is needed. And the third piece is that I was very much invited by FACE and to attend an early childhood celebration and a school year celebration at the New York Hall of Science. Upon speaking with some of the educators there, they had a great idea to have a pre-K, 3K, and 2K like President's Council to teach some parents some advocacy and what's going to happen when they sort of reach elementary school. I thought it was great. I got to see the chancellor, but it was really a great event to see all the young students and all the hard work that they put in and to see the future people that will be in our district. So Maybe somebody can reach out to some of the early childhood education so you can get some parents involved early on. And that is my spiel. And I hope everybody has a nice summer, and I'll see you in August.
Thank you, Jessica, as always. Our next speaker is Adriana Alicea.
Hi, everyone. Apologies for my background. It's late. Adriana Licea, she, her, here for Queens, CECs. I have a few things I would like to mention before I share some comments for the evening. First, I shared the details for the next PEP meeting earlier this evening. I think quite a few people have joined since then, so I will go ahead and share that again. But we will be meeting on Wednesday, July 29th at 6 p.m. at Fashion Industries, the High School for Fashion Industries in Manhattan. We usually meet on the third Wednesday of the month, but the meeting's schedule was pushed because of the holiday, I think. Second to that, the meetings have not yet been added to the New York City Public Schools calendar because they are working out some vendor stuff with learning times for scheduling, but the utilization committee will also be meeting in July and in August. I will share further details about that. One of the meetings that we will host will be attended by a member of SCA, and we will discuss in part the threshold that developers have to meet and the determination that's made by the state and how all of that works, in addition to a few other things. With that, though, if you have specific utilization questions, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to get back to you or link you or loop you in with the right people. With respect to screens and screen time, if you have attended a PEP meeting or if you would like to review the game tape and watch some recordings of PEP meetings, you will know that I have been very outspoken about the ways in which our students experience their day in the classroom and the way that our teachers also share that experience because their classroom is their corner office. And I myself have shared in the chat, I plan to have my son opt out in a conscientious objector fashion for the next school year. I don't feel that we've been left with much of a choice, and I will support anyone in the district who would like to do so as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Julia Delal.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to turn on my camera. Did it all during the pandemic, but can't figure it out here. Sorry, I will just start anyways. I am a parent in the district, and I'm also a speech and language pathologist. Along with some of the other parents, I have concerns in regards to the increase in the use of technology during the school day for instructional time, as well as the use of iReady. I am one of the parents who do not consent at PS 101 to having my child use iReady. I also do not want him to have his own DOE device. I'm not happy with the increase in technology that's used during the school day. And I want to know, can you explain why it's used and or required within our district, like to use assessments such as iReady? I was kind of told that it's a requirement and I don't want it. I also want to know what independent and peer-reviewed research does the district rely on to support that iReady and the increased use of classroom screen time and increase in technology. Does it actually improve student learning outcomes as opposed to just more teacher-led instruction? And as I stated, I am a parent from 101, and I am on that list that Dina Katz referred to as one of the parents that wanted to opt out for my rising first grader. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker tonight is Sasha Cruz.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'd like to mention about that, about the funding equity across the schools. I know, Dr. Blake, you did a really great presentation on like the funding, but we know the fair student funding is really not so fair. So there's still shortfalls in the schools. We know many schools rely on grants to help address budget shortfalls, but how do parents know if their school is actively pursuing these opportunities? And is there a centralized resource at the New York public school level where families can see any of these available grants, which schools are applying, and where volunteers with grant writing experience can offer support? I mean, I think there are many parents with professional expertise that would be happy to help if they knew where they needed where the need existed. And so I don't know if that information is very high level, or where do we have visibility as to ensure our schools actively pursuing grants? Because that also is a testament to what principals are doing. Like, if they know that there's budget shortfalls, what are they doing to ensure that that no child is left behind and what the needs are? And because there's a shortfall, that they're just, you know, not interrupting the status quo and looking for those resources to ensure that their kids actually get what they deserve. And I think we need more visibility on that, and an opportunity for us parents to be able to help. I know in previous administration, we did have grant writing as part of SLT, and parents were actively doing that. But how do we ensure that that is consistently happening, or where could we put pressure that grants are being requested? And I know one of the biggest contention is that after school grant for PS 139, 220, and 206 lapse next year. And then what are those three schools doing to ensure that families don't have to pay for after school? It's a big burden to pay $400 per kid per month. And what are our principals doing? What is this district doing to support it? Thank you.
Thank you. And my sincere apologies. Our next speaker is Ms. Vanessa Sparks.
Good evening, CEC28. My name is Vanessa Sparks. I'm here wearing two hats. One as a member of the Community Board 12 Education Committee under the leadership of Latoya LeGrand and the Reverend Carlene Thorpe. I am also here as the engagement coordinator for Council Member Ty Hankerson, 28th New York City Council District. So I just want to first say congratulations to all that were elected as officers this evening for the 26-27 school year. Both Community Board 12 and the office of Councilman Ty Hankerson is looking forward to even a more robust relationship between those two offices in CEC 28 for the next school year. So really quick, I actually, what I just found something out that I didn't know is that there are no protective, if there's nothing to protect young children or children in general from going to other sites on the New York City public school issued devices. That was something I did not know. And I'm actually going to take that back to the councilman and hopes that he will speak with some of his colleagues to find out if they are aware, and maybe something could be talked about or even introduced at the city council level, because I did not know that. And lastly, or next to last, please include our office. I will put my email in the chat, as well as the email for our Chief of Staff, Maricela Cano, particularly when it comes to the meeting with SEA as it relates to the new development that is going up throughout our district. You spoke about some buildings that are going up in the Regal Park area. This happening in Jamaica. So I just want everyone to enjoy their summer, have a blessed summer, and stay cool. And I will put my information in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, parents, for that. And listen, we're all learning from each other, and that was really, really insightful of the concerns that a lot of parents here have and a lot of parents in our community have. And it's something that we will do together because we get to elevate those concerns, and we have a great district that supports us in elevating those concerns. And we have faith and we have chances also, and we're cool. So next, we have our council member reports. So the 2 minutes just worked out pretty okay with the parents, and this is only a test. This is not our bylaw. This is not a strict thing, but I would love to test out this evening if Kenya wouldn't mind putting on the timer for council member reports to 3 minutes just to see how this goes. Awesome. And recording secretary, if you don't mind. Oh, you want my paper?
All right. Good evening, everyone. First, we'll have our first member report from our second vice president, no, excuse me, our first vice president, Lauren Clavin.
Thank you so much. I just first want to acknowledge all the parents that spoke tonight and thank you so much for being here. Some of you, it may have been your first time doing this, and we're all really grateful to hear from you. Please come back. I know sometimes it feels like an interminable wait. I disagree. I think this is all really relevant, interesting information that we're sharing with the community. But anyway, we appreciate you. And I just want to say, I share your concerns. I know a lot of us on the council share your concerns because we're parents just like you. And I'm really tired of the rules that have been in place in my home for my kids being it just has become unmanageable in my home during homework time when my fifth grader is telling me, well, I have to use my Chromebook to do my homework, and then I become the Chromebook police. And it's just been an increasing frustration. So to those of you who spoke, you are not alone. I will be introducing a resolution on this at next month's meeting. If you're familiar with the guidance that was passed by the Los Angeles School Board recently, the resolution is somewhat similar. I also would love to speak with our superintendent, Dr. Blake, and deputy superintendent, because I promise you, there were several parents that made the time to speak tonight, but I have been personally contacted by dozens and dozens all across the district who could not be here tonight, but have shared their concerns. And an alarming number of them are telling me that they want to leave the public system altogether because of this. So I think that this is something that needs to be addressed. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lauren. And now we'll have our second vice president, Jennifer Sobers, to give her member report.
Good evening. I'm not able to quickly get the presentation, so I'll just navigate this way. So I had the wonderful privilege to attend the graduations at PS 50 and PS 55. They are two of my liaison schools. The graduations were featured a lot of wonderful performances and accolades given to members of the school community. As you see here, one of our parent leaders who I don't believe I see her in the meeting today, but she's often is, Dr. Mustafa, was given a special award for her advocacy And I was honored to prepare some remarks for students, and particularly I like to give remarks to families because to the parents as well for the supervision of the tech devices, for waking up the children, making the meals, for taking them to the schools in the snow and the inclement weather. That's not easy. So these are celebrations of the student achievement and family support. I would like to just also say that a happy report is that it's the timer. I'm trying to get everything in. There was some really good gains that are being made because of a commitment by school facilities and SEA to be more responsive to the concerns and needs of our schools. They're instituting some monthly meetings that they will be able to address some concerns that ahead of time I was able to provide some of those concerns and get responses. In particular, the principal at PS55, who often gets puts in requests for various needed things for the school that would make the school and the children's education better. He one of the upgrades, as we all have possibly probably experienced, has been years coming. Through this particular advocacy with the SEA and getting me through various channels to the correct people. This week, we were able to get the contractors in the building to go over these upgrades and a commitment to seeing that the progress is noted. And it looks like, we're hopeful that after years that this will happen. And I hope that this and other things that we've seen will be an indicator, at least in this next coming year, that we'll be able to make progress in these areas. And yep, I'm going to just show the slides and tell people that my report will be shared on our website. There was a celebration of the principal at 144 for her appreciation for many years of dedication of service. The elected officials in our district are working and are committed to the needs of our schools. So not only, please, if you can, I know it's a lot, attend these meetings and the PEP meetings, but also the meetings that the council members are holding so that they can also help us and our important stakeholders in the work we do. Thank you very much and enjoy the holiday.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. All right. Now I'll give my member report. Okay, so yes, I don't have much to report. I do want to say that in this coming term, and this the end of this term, I will be focusing on gifted and talented, and I'm interested to know the parameters to enter gifted and talented program, who is in charge of the curriculum. Is it the same for all of the gifted and talented programs within District 28? So I'll be very interested to hear more about that from the schools that have the program and also from the superintendent. All right, and brings my report to an end. Next, we'll have our treasurer, Alicia Bauer, to give her member report.
Good day all. I'm gonna share my screen. Alrighty. My main update is on MS 217 T building. It is SC, School Construction Authority, was meeting with CEC members on June 22nd in person in their headquarters in Manhattan. I had an opportunity to talk to Vice President of School Construction Authority, Cora Liu, regarding MS 217, to remind the public that MS 217 has a T building. T stands for rather temporary or trailer, whatever that is. It's a temporary building that was built over 20 years old. Its longevity passed. It passed its longevity and must be replaced with an annex, not only because T building is falling apart and needs to be replaced, but also to accommodate classroom sizes and Jamaica rezoning. Cora Liu stated that there is not enough land to build an annex. She recalled it from her memory, and it will take 10 years to build an annex, and the city parks will not give up the land. So basically, there was no offer of a collaboration or any kind of solutions to the problem. I followed up with an email when I requested to provide a feasibility study to say how much land will city parks need to give up to build an annex, so I can then go to city parks. With that feasibility study, I could start land alienation procedure, and my requests have not been answered, even though I copied Kate Zapata, Kevin Moran, our CEC president, many people, Dr. Blake. None of those people copied, convinced Cora to give me what's needed for me to continue my advocacy. Following meeting with her on June 22nd, I decided that I have to find a way to talk to other politicians and ask them, is that true? Is that something, that land alienation procedure, which is giving up city parks territory to somebody else, is that difficult? On June 25th, 27th, and 28th, I found public events where these people were meeting with public for different reasons. They're mostly celebration of Nick's graduation party with Grace Meng, and 250th celebration of the United States of America's birthday with Senator Liu. Grace Meng and Senator Liu said there is no issues on their end and they will provide with any support needed, but they gave me an idea to meet with Council Member Gennaro. I scheduled a meeting with Chief of Staff Henry Yam to discuss land alienation procedure. This is his comments. City parks and MS 217 allocated on the city land. The land can be shared. The school must be compliant with the state law of small classroom sizes. Therefore, he will make it a priority to meet with those who can share the information about state of the school, and Principal Simmons will be one of those people. He did share that there is a precedent that Cora Liu mentioned. It is a public school in Bayside that took 10 years to build an annex and $40 million. He said that, again, the land should not be a problem as much as who's going to sponsor the annex. This is his quote from his email this morning. I'll be conducting my own outreach on this, and we'll see what we can do. also Cora Liu mentioned that she doubts that the community of Briarwood will be willing to give up the park to build the school. And I, in my email, mentioned that stakeholder meetings, we can discuss the annex and collaborative partnership to protect natural community assets, upgrade existing green space infrastructure, and build a sustainable model for the school and the surrounding neighborhood. We do not have to take the parks and not to give anything back to the community. These pictures was I shared with Chief of Staff Henry for him to see the school. In the first picture, you see the main building of the school and the blue annex in the back. The second picture is the parks. As you can tell, there is nothing is updated, nothing is painted. It's in a very poor shape. Nothing has changed. I've shown similar pictures in my November report. The only thing that changed is school facilities. Carmine Francis and his team painted the outside of the building. The paint on the school is starting to peel off. This is some of the other pictures around the school. As you can see, parks are not maintaining the territory. The school wanted to have a little shed where they would keep tools for maintaining what they can themselves. And the shed is broken in regularly and things go missing. So if you can tell this was my question to Henry. It appears to be, even without taking parks territory, T-building already has quite a bit of territory behind this fence. I really don't see how that's a problem, honestly, but again, to be factual, we need school construction authority to conduct a land survey and to conduct, and because Coralie already knew that there is not enough land, I want her to release the documents that she based her statement on and show me and us and the principal of the school where is that, how much land is needed. So far, no answer from her. And the blue paint is peeling off. Of course, I don't know why Carmine wasted his time and money of painting over very bad surface. It will just gonna, by winter, it's probably all gonna be deteriorated. That's that. No updates from Emerson School because I tried to attend the SLT meeting in June, and I'm the only one who connects over Zoom. As you know, SLT meetings in person. I could not make there on time, and nobody let me in. I waited half an hour, and nobody let me into the meeting, so I don't know how they wrapped up the school year. However, the Halsey, junior high 157, had an amazing performance at the Mets Stadium where the children performed the anthem, and that was the wrap up of their school year. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Alicia. Next, we'll have our member report from Luzelle.
Oh. Yeah, so this month last month we received report from the CEC28 that their projected, the new year has a issue. So I have contact with some parents, see what their feedback and did some research on this. So I think that will continue to going on. And for the New Year's coming, I also suggest everybody else pay attention to school budget. And the most recent news is the DOE already committed to hold no harm for another year. That means they commit, for the school budget does not decrease because of the enrollment. But they didn't, mention the mid-year adjustment, which could be a problem for quite a few school I know of. So this is issue in the future is probably not gonna, be or continue to be a problem because the enrollment will continue to fall. So the overall nationwide, the student number will fall. And for New York to New York, have a, population decrease overall. And so many of our school have a, enrollment issue even in places that are supposed to be more popular. For example, Forest Hill High School used to have like 200% of the capacity before the pandemic. I believe the most recent number is about 125, something like that. So it's significantly reduced to make the, if you remember that they committed to build a new building in the south part of the north part of the school campus. There used to be a bus depot, and somehow, if the trend continues, they may not even meet it, right? So this is an issue that impact a lot of smaller schools. They will continue to have a fewer students, and what's going to happen there? This is a question I think everybody have to think about it in the future. We cannot continue to do this for. We already have like more than $40,000 per student. It will continue to increase if this trend going on. And one time, we have to revisit the budget and probably do some adjustment. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. And now we'll have our member report from Kenya Townsend. Okay, thank you, Kenya. And Akita Williams, we have the next member report.
Good evening. I have nothing to report this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great holiday, great summer.
Thank you, Pakita. Next, we'll have Eric Gretsch.
Cool, thanks. Not much update for me. I'll be meeting with the schools in July to start beginning planning for September. There is a lot of buzz around Forest Hills, Rego Park area, as Lauren and others have mentioned regarding screen time. My kids have 10196, and they've recently, I guess, backtracked, or maybe backtracked is not the right word. They've made changes to the policies around screen time within the school. So I've seen a significant change already with what access my kids have and they don't have. And I think that will continue, to bear fruit in the fall. So I'm very curious. Something that keeps coming up, though, that I'm not sure we have a good sense on is, is there really pushback from the teachers? Is it administrators? I was very surprised when 196 quickly, was receptive to parents' feedback. But I don't know who's talked to the teachers to see, like, how, do they need these tools? Are they filling with other items? Do they feel like they need other technology or other tools to help them? So I don't know how we can start to engage with teachers. I mean, we spend a lot of time speaking with parents here. Obviously, we represent them and talking to the administration, but I never get to hear from the teachers. So I'll leave that thought and have a great summer and a great 4th.
Thank you, Eric. And now we'll have our newest council member, Lauren Perkins.
Yeah. Not really. So I'm Lauren. I'm a mom of 3. I have 2 girls, Charlie, who is in 6th grade at Yucca, and Serenity, who is a rising 1st grader at 354. My son has special needs. I've been homeschooling him for 3 years. I'm actually looking to put him back into school this September, hopefully. I do have a lot of concerns around technology as well when it comes to the access that our students have There's a lot of research when it comes to screen time for adults and children and how it affects the matter in your brain, literally. It's a white matter in your brain that controls communication, problem solving, and independence. And when you're constantly overstimulated by a screen, the matter starts to diminish. So when we're seeing a lot of these behaviors, um, especially with children who have disabilities and issues with speaking and concentration, and even children who don't have disabilities when it comes to their concentration, it is because of the excessive screen time and dopamine that they're experiencing from the screens. And this is actually scientific information. You can look it up. So it is very frightening, the route that we're going. And I have done a lot of speaking with the teachers. They do not feel equipped or adequately trained after COVID because they had such an influx in using technology. And now the students' attention span is so low when they don't use the technology. It almost feels like they have to, but they do not feel like they're adequately doing their job in a sense, but they have to make it through the day. And that's just from the few teachers that I have spoke with. Um, I do agree that the classroom sizes are too big. That's another concern. And when it comes to teachers and paras and just school staff in general, I don't think that they're adequately trained for students with certain behavioral issues, special needs students, even in District 75. I feel that a lot of training needs to be implemented when it comes to emotional intelligence, even with our elementary schoolers and middle schoolers. A lot of the teachers like to, for lack of a better term, match energy when they should be changing the trajectory of the way that the students are behaving and participating. And I see in our bylaws, it has something like I was talking about a like a way to de-escalate a situation. And I feel like a lot of the times the staff does not, they don't do a good job at doing that. So training for teachers, paras, classroom size, technology, are concerns. And then parent involvement. I know that in our district, as the chancellor mentioned, a lot of the Title I funding is low because parents are just not involved, not necessarily because they don't want to be, but because the stress level is so high for so many different reasons that they're just they just don't have the capacity to engage, and sometimes they're not culturally competent to what is going on. Like, and no offense to the council, but this is not appealing to them when they have such a high stress level. So they're missing the key factors to get their schools funding. So I think if we could work to maybe like have more of a cultural or social media presence to get more parents to be involved and to get them more educated so they kind of understand the process better, I think it would work. I think it will work really well for our district, especially when it comes to the funding. On a personal side, I am the president and founder of Autism Out Loud Incorporated, where we host monthly support groups for caregivers who are raising children and adults on the spectrum. We create sensory inclusive spaces for the children and their siblings where they're able to regulate themselves screen free and have a big sensory experience. Alongside, we have a parent support group for the parents. We'll report into them and give them necessary information that they need to continue onto their journey. Our next support group is July 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. All are welcome to bring your children, whether they're on the spectrum or not. And our big back to school sensory event, which will be sponsored by Councilmember Ty Hankerson, will be August 30th from 2 to 5 p.m. And they're both in Rochdale Village Community Center. So I just wanted to extend the invitation and thank you for having me. And I have a willingness to serve.
Thank you so much, Lauren. And finally, we'll have our president, Quentin Mezitin, to give his report.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, all council members. Great reports. And yeah, congratulations to all the graduates that just graduated and the moving up ceremony students. Those were phenomenal. I've been just paying attention and looking into those and celebrating. I know I went to PS 140 and celebrated with them. and that was phenomenal. And I went to P4, the D70, one of the D75 schools in our district. That's a different experience. I recommend everyone attend a D75 graduation because it's so different and it's amazing. It enhances our knowledge of what the simplest thing that we just go and see all these graduations and how simple it is, but how different it is in D75. It's very rewarding, both of them, but it's a different experience. And I got to see both, and I really appreciated that. And I got a text today from a parent at Halsey. And this parent contacted me because the ACs were their words crap. And it's summer and it was getting hot in spring. And when they let me know that, I contacted Carmine, visited the same week, and she just sent me the Instagram. You got to check out Halsey's Instagram, celebrating that it's July and they have ACs in their auditorium. And she was very thankful just because we're doing what parents do, just like a lot of council members here do. We get results fast and we just advocate your concerns. But other than that, I went to the PS80 D75 open house. I saw fellow council member Lauren there, the new Lauren. And I saw Ty Hankerson and I saw Vanessa Sparks. I saw all the D75 staff from Principal Nicole and all the way to just the whole 811Q team and Principal McShane and what you call the stakeholders for PS80. And it was an amazing event, just showing the collaboration of D75 and PS80. So I look forward to many more things to come from there. And I was invited to the Face Parent Award ceremony at 31 Chambers Street, and it was great, hosted by Chancellor Kamar Samuels and Deputy Chancellor Flavia. And in conversation with Flavia, she has committed to coming to one of our meetings to bring greetings once she has our full schedule. So I'm looking forward to her attendance because she brings smiles and tears to all of our eyes. But other than that, thank you for such a great, wonderful school year, and I'm looking forward to a much better one. And happy 4th. Take care. Oh, so it's back to me. All right. Before we even Spanish interpreters, do we have any
Yes.
comments in the Spanish interpreter?
Tenemos alguna pregunta.
Say
No
that again?
question from the Spanish line. No question from the Spanish line.
No problem, no problem. Also, I want to thank all the principals that showed up today. You do not have to come. You are off the clock. You're on vacation and you still showed up. And we thank you for your commitment to not just your students and your school, but to our community and district in a whole. Thank you. And I know you're here from the district office, Sonia and Dr. Benoit. Sonia, I want to give you bring greeting and share the events that parents can look forward to.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. So happy to be here. It's a little bit cooler, but not as cool as I'd like it to be. Just want to first of all thank all the parent leaders. You know, even though you're still CEC, you're working throughout the summer. But for those that ended their term June 30th, thank you so much for all the advocacy you did this school year. For those of you that got re-elected, congratulations. It is a volunteer position, but it is work. It is a lot of work. And so I am excited and looking forward to supporting you. We are doing training, offering 2 sessions for the summer. I've been doing this for a couple of years. Parents ask for it, so I'm hoping that they actually come. I put the information in the chat, and then I will be sharing the full schedule. We're just waiting for everyone's calendars to kind of align with our trainings and meetings from Central. But once I have those, we will be starting full force in September. And please, if you know of parents that just want to come to get information, to get their foot wet, what does this look like? Part of the conversations that we do have is culturally responsive empathy in terms of coming to this country and what does it look like to be a parent leader, right? Oftentimes I speak about in some cultures, you don't get involved in the school, right? And then you come here and it's like, we want to hear from you. And you're like, well, where do I start? And so that's also part of the conversations that we have. Really, other than that, enjoy your summer. Thank you so much for allowing me really to work with you. It is always an honor and a pleasure to be here this evening with you. One of the trainings is SLT. We finally have SLT updated. Yay. It's only been like 20 years, it seems like. So I'll be offering that session. Anyone can attend, please. There are some changes that I think are significant in terms of moving forward and really strengthening our collaboration. So thank you, everyone, and I'll put the information in the chat. Have a good evening and enjoy the holiday.
Thank you. And is Dr. Benoit still here?
Yes, I want to congratulate everyone on tonight's elections and, on behalf of Dr. Blake and Deputy Tushman, who had to sign off, I want to wish everybody a fruitful, restful, joyful summer. Thank you for your partnership, and we look forward to deepening it in 26-27.
Thank you. And as we get ready for this amazing weekend, please stay cool, everybody. It is hot outside. And if you need an AC, I believe New York is giving away free ACs, but check on that. But other than that, the time is 9:19. It's Spanish interpreters. You're free to go. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. The time is
Of course.
9:19. And with that being said, happy 4th. Have a great weekend. This calendar meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Good night. It's on. All right. The time is 9:26 and we are, thank you.
We're back in session.
Camera. Yes, we're starting the business section. The time is 9:26, July 2nd, and we are now starting our business meeting, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Recording secretary, please do the roll call.
First, should we take something? All right, night, everyone. We have first Vice President Lauren Clavin. Present. Second Vice President Jennifer Sobers.
Here.
Recording Secretary Chantal Chambers is present. Treasurer Alicia Bauer.
Present.
Right. Members in no particular order. Kenya Townsend.
Here.
Peter Williams. She's here. All right. Lu Zhao.
Yep.
Eric Kretsch. Lauren Perkins.
Here.
Annie Koch is absent. And Cecily Chu is also absent. And our president, Quentin Messeton.
Present. Thank you. You take mine.
2 minutes, man.
All right, thank you. So I'd like to listen, put it on. I'm with it. I like it. So next on our agenda is adopting the council meeting minutes. Recording secretary, Chantel.
I'm kindly asking if we could table the minutes for June. Our lovely administrative assistant, she was on vacation, and along with a lot of financial forms that we had. So I'm making a motion that the minutes be tabled.
Second. Beautiful. And now we are going to go to our CEC28 budget modification by our phenomenal, amazing, and just beautiful, always happy, fit, because she walks all the time, Alicia Bauer, our treasurer.
All right, guys, I'll share the screen so you can see our budget. Alrighty. I'm gonna read line by line so you will see what we have. So here we go. Food and beverage for meetings, $296. General supplies, $150. P-card, $500. Member reimbursements, $18,300. Copy lease, $1,644. CEC website, $2,610. Graduation certificates, $1,215. And Quentin Mazzetin spent his own money to pay the photographer, and we need to reimburse him. That will be $250. Our total budget for a year will be $25,000. And I make a motion to approve this budget as is, and may I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, that's all I got.
Thank you, Alicia.
On the website, is it a DOE, like, do we go through the DOE to do that, or how does that work from a vendor perspective?
Dorinda, who do we rent and lease things from, DOE?
It is a DOE vendor. The CC has a vendor they've been using for years, and he also services the district superintendent's office and many other CCs. So it has to be a DOE vendor, yes. Yeah.
This is a modification to the budget act from 24-25, like it says, right? I just want to make sure.
Yes, starting today, yes,
Okay, thank you.
July. Mhm.
Thank you. Any other questions for Alicia? We're good? All right.
What?
Huh?
I have a question.
Yeah.
We don't get a, we don't get a social media budget.
You do not?
Social media.
No.
We don't have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we
please.
allowed to have our own, like, create a CEC social media page?
Are you talking about just like,
Yeah.
because in my mind, I went straight to Instagram and stuff like that, but that may not be.
Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we don't have.
For our CC.
Meet them on their.
Where they are?
Where their attention is at.
That's
So
a
the
cool idea.
CEC Page, would be really good.
I think that's a nice idea.
Hold on, I wanna.
But I don't
Have them
I wanna
unofficially. I don't
just-
know if there's.
Hold on. I wanna give Tamika, she was raising her hand to say something about that.
That we put it within their bylaws to add a Instagram and Facebook page. But when you do add that, what you should be considering is who's gonna manage it.
Right,
Who's gonna upload that information to have that, who's going to maintain like the user and the password, and then you can go from there. But if you would like, you can do that as well. And then I can also send you the ethics and legal piece so that you know what you're should be doing as well. That is something you guys might consider.
Is that something?
Budget,
Like,
she's saying managing it, if, the DOE is managing the website, put it in and then have them manage the DOE vendor to manage the social.
oh, we can't do that part. No, we can't pay for it. Gotta read.
Even for community council, like community boards, they do the same thing where they're the ones where it now, just what I've seen. I like the idea for sure. I think a Facebook at the bare minimum would be nice. Or maybe even just like a WhatsApp community where it still is a way for folks to get what you're saying, but it does get convoluted with like missing, and now is it the committee? Are we meeting as committee? You know what I mean? Like I think it starts to be that, which is not a barrier, just saying additional things to sort of like think about. But I agree, because I feel like Dorinda is always sending out messages to stuff, and it's just a lot of emails, and that might be a little bit more targeted for our population,
But also, how are we gonna respond? That was my question, actually.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
For in general, like today, complaints are growing, who's responding to them? Like when parents come to our meetings and they say something, they probably expect us to act on it or respond back to them. If we add Instagram, Facebook to it, who's gonna go and tell them, I'm gonna look into it, and this is what we did, right?
But there's a way on social media to where
Block comments.
no matter no matter what they say, it has a generic response. Like, thank you for this. Yeah. And you ever know, it's like if you comment on something,
Yeah,
they get a link, and then
yeah.
it goes right to the link, and then you get an automatic response.
But that's not what I wanna do, I want to respond and I want like today.
There's so many things you're not.
What's the purpose?
So that's what I'm saying, what do you envision
more-
this to be for? Just for more information?
Well, the purpose is to, so you're not gonna make everybody happy on social media, but the purpose is to get more people's attention for their schools to get more involved, like for the Title I, for the funding, to get more involved in these meetings. Like, they're just trying to get the attention of the parents. We're not trying to solve every concern that they're gonna have, because it's gonna be blasphemy, it's social media. You're not.
But then what's the point to have it? If we cannot respond to them, they will stop coming to that platform.
No, they won't.
But then that's giving them voice that they can't, that gives them a lot of power that we.
But no, this is a good conversation. However, we could do this after this meeting. So that was the last thing on the schedule. Do we have any new business?
Well, don't we have to make a calendar for next year?
Not yet.
When is that?
That's we have to put on the agenda for next month. We do have new business?
Maybe,
Wait,
I'm not sure what qualified as new business. I noticed that when we go into members report, Dr. Blake, and many people who we give a report, it's not only to the parents, it's also to his office to hear. Because just like what we're talking about, what are we doing about parents' complaints? What are they doing about our reports, right? We bring important issues, and who do we tell this? Parents to go do it for us? Like, who are we telling this to? And I noticed that in the past 3 meetings, the moment member reports start, Dr. Blake and his team is gone.
So we can change
Rod
the
is
orders.
gone, Keith is gone.
Some councils do their member reports very early on in the meeting.
Yeah, it's rather change the order, so they have to present after us, so they hear. Or we have to tell them, hey, when notice that you guys drop out, you need to stay.
Telling them that is important, and I think to what I was saying a bit earlier is that, again, the reports are being used as a tool to inform folks and not necessarily for a solution to come about. I think those are two different things. And so if there's something that needs a solution, I think that there needs to be another mechanism for that to happen, where you do have folks' attention, where there's a high, priority things that you need to have one-on-one or Dr. Blake or whomever for. And so that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think that we're trying to put everything into a report.
You guys can unmute yourself so that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
But I
No
think
worries,
it's
no
in
worries.
Our chancellor's regulations that we get, our CEC book, that it says that the purpose of chancellor to be here is to respond to the concerns that they hear during the meeting. I have to look how it's exactly worded, but I think they're here for that.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying that it doesn't necessarily need to go in your report. If there's a section where this is a part of what we're doing, where there are issues that are. If there's a section of when that is happening, then that allows those issues to come up versus everyone having specific reports or something like that. So, but it's a suggestion, because I think it does need to be, brought to the attention. I think saying it to the folks, because I think we're doing a lot of emails or just saying things, and we're, to the point of wanting to adjourn the meeting so we can have conversation. We don't get an opportunity to talk because we're always using the same time to try to squeeze everything in.
But that being said, is there any new business? Because we can definitely continue this conversation offline.
Childcare, so my baby is in daycare. My visit.
Beautiful. Oh, that's a beautiful baby.
Tamika has something to say.
New business?
Yes, please.
Okay, new business.
That applies to your council.
Oh.
At the time, he was in 11th grade. Now that it has passed to July 1st, he has now been able to
vetted, I sent it to legal. So once they clear it, you'll have a student member.
Let's go. Let's go. He applied twice. He's eager. He was ready.
Have to add it to the budget then.
Yes, we do. Got to get him paid on our council. Other councils, they don't. 29 is cheap.
Probably transfer to you.
No.
The August meeting?
Yeah.
We tell them they don't have to come in person. They can stay virtual. But thank you.
Oh, that's gonna come in.
And with that being said, the time is 9:39 and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.